With 50 plus years of combined produce, supply chain, entrepreneurial, and business experience, Craig Slade and Ed Bertad discuss the impacts of fresh produce on their lives and health. This podcast is a casual conversation between two friends just trying to get better. This is the Fresh CrEd.
Start over.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to another The Fresh CrEd here in beautiful August, back in beautiful Tucson. And my good friend Ed Bertad has joined me from lovely South Texas. Ed, tell me, how are you, sir?
I'm great. Good evening, Craig.
Good
How
evening
is
to you, my man.
Beautiful Arizona today or tonight?
You know, Ed, it is nice. It's so good to be back here. It's certainly warmer than where I was, but you know what? This is home, and I'm just thrilled to be back here. Sun shining, looking at a mountain out there. Can't complain.
Thrilling. Thrilling to be back home.
Thrilling.
Yeah.
Ecstatic. According to the weather right now, here at late in the evening, it's only 102.
Wow.
So pretty nice.
I see you have a sweater on.
How is it there, by the way?
You have a sweater on? Do you have a sweater on?
It's a pullover. So
it's 102 and you have a pullover on.
Yeah, my better half does not appreciate 102, so she makes sure we feel like we're somewhere else here in the house.
Yeah.
So
that's very energy conscious.
No, that's not part of her mantra. Energy conscious is not it.
So, just out of curiosity,
Cold.
I mean, look, I'm not trying to shame you, but what is your thermostat
you
set at? Like, I'm just curious.
So, when I set it, or when someone else sets it in the house?
I don't know. I mean, how much are you willing to divulge?
Well, I seldom get to set it. Almost never. Actually, if it gets set by me, it's only in secret. 72 is the preferred temperature here at the Slade household. So figure that delta, 102 to 72. It's only 30 degrees that I'm having to cool off this bad boy.
That's your number or her number?
That's her number.
Oh, that's not too bad. I thought you were
going to
say
bad.
I thought you were going to say like in the 60s. You know, and every house is different. I mean, we have those Nest thermostats. And
we do as well.
So
yes,
I program them so that basically they regulate every couple hours, so that when folks override them in the house, then just within an hour at least or two, they're going to set back to where I want them. So they just kind of give up. They kind of give up messing with them.
Yeah, my family's not good at giving up. I got that program too. Basically, I had it set up. So I had, because you can schedule the thing, right? So it automatically turns, changes the temperature. And so I had it doing that. And then that got ixnayed. It's like, yeah, we don't need the automatic program. We'll just handle it manually. It's like, okay. So anyway, it's not good for me to sit at the office down in Rio Rico and adjust it either. That's not a good plan.
Oh, while you're not home? That doesn't go over well?
When I'm not home.
Yeah.
Because I like 78. That's my temperature.
Really? See, that's a little warm.
78's good.
Yeah. But again, every house is different. I mean, it's kind of,
look,
it's a little bit subjective.
If you were going somewhere on vacation and they said, you know what, it's going to be 78 all the time there, would you not say that's awesome?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So why in the hell is 78 in your house not awesome?
I think because you acclimate. I mean, I say this often around here. If you're too hot, go outside for a little while, and when you come back in, it's going to feel really cool, no matter what it's on. You know, when it's 105 outside,
right.
80 would feel good in the house.
So hang on, I've got a visitor that just walked up.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, someone could hear our conversation. So it's not 72. What are you, 74? Is that your temperature?
73.
73 apparently is the number. It's not 70.
Oh, well, that's much better.
71 when we're blow drying our hair. So what about 78? What do you think about 78?
That's good for an outside temperature, not an indoor temperature.
So
apparently 78 is like being on the surface of the sun.
Apparently, yeah, 78 is actually like being on the surface of the sun. Apparently, so yeah, we don't see 78 here. While I think even while we were gone, I think the house was set at 78. So it was only comfortable when no one's here. And for me, that would have been 82.
I think we've covered that.
What else we got? We've covered the temperature in your house and the Nest program.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I don't have any control over that. So what else you got, Ed? What is the weather there in beautiful South Texas? Is it raining?
It's been raining.
Sleeting?
It's actually been raining pretty regularly in the afternoon. So good, bad. If you like thunderstorms, yeah, this is your place to be. Late day thunderstorms, come on down to South Texas. You get all you want. But yeah, the next week or so will be kind of dry. But not sure how relevant that'll be for listeners a week after we're done.
Well, we talked about that before, about that
what, we're going to go live from now on?
A week out.
We're
going to have to think about that.
Yeah.
So, we can do live call-ins too. I don't know if you knew that.
Hey.
But we can actually have people call in.
Yeah, let's look at that. That'd be cool.
So, yeah. Well, it might not be cool. I don't know. Depends on what kind of call-ins we get.
We'll have to screen.
So,
we'll definitely have to screen those.
So yeah, that becomes one more job for Laura and Mason.
Yeah.
Which they don't have any. I get a thumbs up from Laura. Hey, but did you see the mailbag this week?
No. What's up? Was it?
Well,
was somebody giving me a hard time again? Like Angus did?
No, nothing about your Botox this week. Okay. But no, it was actually a positive. It came in the mailbag. It's a new word for us to bring up on the pod from one of our faithfuls, and it's the word is shoshin. Shoshin. And again, another. Yeah, I do believe that's Japanese. Maybe. Laura, is that Japanese? No, she's looking it up.
I believe so.
It's a word from Zen Buddhism, meaning beginner's mind. And Japanese martial arts. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, it's a Japanese word, Laura. So, Shoshin, it's a word from Zen Buddhism, meaning beginner's mind. It refers to having an attitude of openness, eagerness, and lack of preconception when studying a subject, even when studying an advanced level, just as a beginner would. The term is especially used to study Zen Buddhism. So think about it like this. All right. When you think about a beginner's mind, Laura's about to have a baby, right? And that baby's going to see at some point a spoon, right? And with that spoon, the first time it sees that spoon, who knows? It's liable to whacking on the table, throw it. Who knows? It doesn't know what it is. It has zero definition. A beginner's mind means it is not defined. Yet any of us, people listening to us, you and I, if we see a spoon, we automatically have a predefined function and knowledge of what that is. We predetermine it, right? Whether that spoon is supposed to do what we think it's supposed to do or not. Our mind is already preconditioned for that spoon to be a spoon for eating cereal or eating soup or something like that. But we have no way to see it any other way because that is our mind is locked in on. It's a spoon. It's just what it is. And so if you think about it from an infant standpoint, when they look at that spoon, their mind is wide open to whatever the possibilities are. That spoon is not a spoon. It is absolutely nothing to them except something brand new that they're looking at. So that's the way to think about Shoshin in a beginner's mind, which realistically, if you can implement something like that in your life and you can learn to look at things that you always saw one way and try and wipe away what some preconceived notion of something that you're looking at or or whatever thought process you have.
Right? It's a practice.
I don't know if it's anybody. Yeah, I mean, the word just means beginner's mind, but the whole thing from Buddhism and the meaning and what's behind it is right. Have a beginner's mind. In other words, look at the world as a beginner would, and instead of looking at it as what you've been told and what is predetermined, and look at it with an open mind to where you explore it to all the different possibilities it could be versus just because like I say, if you get a spoon, you're eating soup, you're eating cereal, or you're not doing anything with it. Laura's baby may find all kinds of, it may be a toy for Laura's baby, right? And who knows what it can be. It certainly will be a drumstick. I can almost guarantee you it will be a sound maker.
Yeah, I won't take any bets on that. Might lose.
Speaking of that, I do think we all, we should let the listeners know that we now have wagers,
friendly wagers
on the friendly, but I think I'm pretty sure I'm correct, which I usually am. So that's the good news. So I'm saying it's going to be Saturday. Baby Violet will bless us with her presence.
We'll see. I'll try. I don't know. I hope it's Friday, like Friday. Mason. Yeah. Mason's betting Friday.
So I got Friday. And keep in mind, the original due date was July 26th, which was last Tuesday.
We are recording this on August 4th.
The Tuesday before last.
Yeah,
mine was a little more numerical than I let on, but it's Sunday.
Oh, look at you using the number.
Yeah. Okay.
Numerology? Are you into numerology, Ed?
Okay.
I'll send my cash out.
Numerology thing? All right.
Okay, and I'm going to be hoping for tomorrow, which will be the 5th. I'm not going to bet on my own.
I'll throw the $20
in. Okay. Mason's going to bet on my behalf.
He's been home too long.
He's going to have 2 days going.
So, well.
He's going to.
Pete Rose never made it to anyway, for betting on his own games.
I know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. See there, Mason? You shouldn't do that. You'll never get to the Hall of Fame doing that. Man, she's gonna be here, and then before you know it, she's gonna be on a school bus, and then in a car off to college, and life will be over. So that's what you got to look forward to.
That is an awesome segue into the quote of the week. Were you setting that up?
What? Yeah, I did. I set that up just for you
for my quote of the week.
Todd.
Man,
yes, I did.
That is like tailor-made.
We keep practicing this show. We're going to get good at it one day.
One of these days, yeah. So my quote of the week is, one day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Who do you think said that?
Well, I know who said it because you told me. Anybody else? Anybody listening? Want to call in real quick?
All right. Sorry. Spoiler alert. Sigmund Freud.
Oh, dadgummit. That's what I thought. So Sigmund Freud.
The father of psychoanalysis.
Things, but okay. He was also for some other things. But anyway, question for you, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Can you expand on that? Do you have any examples of that? Is that true? Is that a true statement in your opinion?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of anything in particular, but I know that my perspective of what I once thought would be, the end of the world, as it relates to something happening to me or not being able to do something or just, anything that you experience as you're particularly younger, is not that big of a deal in hindsight. And, yeah, it's you even if through struggle, you look back at it fondly and you continue to have struggles, which seem like the end of the world, perhaps while you're experiencing them. And then later on you look back and it's not that big of a deal. And you learn that, challenges in particular and tend to get more, I wouldn't say worse. They just tend to the stakes get higher, I guess, if I can put it that way. Does that make sense?
Right. Well, yeah, but I mean, for me, it's like, as we segued out of kids and we talk about struggles and stuff, you think back, and when you're in the midst of raising kids, whoo, man, there's some days that get challenging and long, and you're like, what the hell am I doing here, right? And when you're in the middle of it, it's tough. It's a tough deal. I mean, struggles in life, but struggles raising kids is kind of the segue. But when you get to where I'm at, and you've got a beautiful daughter like I do with Laura, and you look back on all the of course, there was no struggles with Laura. She was the easy one, but everybody else it was a struggle with. But when you look back, it is the struggles that were the beautiful moment. That to me, there's some of those. There's certainly fond moments that weren't struggles for sure, but you appreciate those. Those struggles taught us so much. You learn so much from the struggles, how to do things better, how not to do things. So anyway, I like the quote. Good job, Ed. Once again, you bring a good one.
Well, I mean, and those struggles make you stronger. I don't know why. I just had a flashback when I moved to Vegas. I moved there right before Thanksgiving, and I didn't know anybody, and I didn't have enough money to go home for the holidays. And I remember eating 7-Eleven hot dogs for Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh!
And going to work because I didn't have anything else to do, and then kind of wandering around some casinos. That's how I spent Thanksgiving. And it was kind of a bummer at the time, but now I look back at it and I was like, wow, that was kind of neat. It was an adventure.
That was all part of the struggle. I mean, yeah. That's how you eventually got to IFCO. You don't do that struggle. You don't have the pallet company.
If I didn't eat hot dogs.
What year was that?
You
didn't eat hot dogs?
I did back then, I'll have to admit. Yeah. I don't know. That was
so, I mean, what year was that?
6, 7 maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's like I say. I mean, there's so much, but yeah, your journey through Vegas. I mean, we could probably do an entire show on your Vegas days, maybe 2 shows. Maybe we'll have a series of Ed in Vegas.
Only if we go to Vegas.
The building of the pallets.
Only if we go to Vegas to do it. How does that sound?
I'll give you the date. I'm there.
Listen,
I'm
buddy,
there.
I've been to Vegas
Halloween
with you
weekend.
before. First of all, we're going way off down a rabbit hole because we had a lot of stuff to cover today. But
that
if
is
you want
not
to
on
talk
our
about
list at all,
trips to Vegas, I've been to Vegas with you on a trip that you convinced me to take that I recall I wasn't that keen on. And
I think you were all for it. I think you thought that was a great idea.
Tragedy ensued. Tragedy is a strong word.
That was another one of those. Yeah, exactly. But
oh hey,
I don't
Super
think that
Bowl,
was a struggle.
Let's go to the Vegas and watch Super Bowl. I'm like, that's not where the Super Bowl's at. We're gonna go watch it in Vegas. I've done that before.
Yeah, but it was so much better.
Oh yeah,
I think I karaoke to close us out too.
Mm-hmm. You insulted
right after
straight
the Super Bowl.
in the middle of his first farewell tour.
Oh
anyway,
my gosh, he was not insulted. Yes, anyway, let's move on to the notes we have. How about my quote?
Your quote of the week. What is it? Hit me.
See, my quote is centered along the show. So I think about the show sometimes when I think about these quotes, and I thought this one is ideal for the show. It's health that is the real wealth, and not pieces of gold and silver. Mahatma Gandhi.
That's pretty solid.
I think it is. I think that means, honestly, we don't appreciate our health until we don't have it. I think it's one of those deals where we think, pieces of gold and silver are pretty, they're awesome, Maseratis and Lamborghinis and, big penthouses. Those are all pretty cool until you're on a ventilator or a freaking oxygen tank or freaking some bad scenario health wise because you didn't take good care of yourself.
Hey,
then the Maseratis and
right
the Lamborghinis don't mean nothing.
Take it from somebody who at their worst was negotiating that if God could ever make me feel better, I would do something with my life.
Yeah,
do something positive with my life.
And so this is it. Is this the manifestation of what you're going to do with your life? Is this podcast?
It's a step, right?
Awesome. It is. It is a damn sure is a step, man. And that's all. You know. Do you feel better? Do you feel like now you have a price to pay?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm trying not to forget it.
Yeah. No, like I say, that's. I think a lot of us are pretty well blessed, and yeah, the feeling better certainly is a reward that I got to say it's better than money. You know, I feel bad.
It's a damn sight better than the alternative.
It is, but even death, you know, death is easier than being unhealthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, death, you're dead. I mean, there's no pain there, but I mean, there's people, you know, I could go to an old folks home sometime, you know, and man, walkers and wheelchairs and aches and pains. And I don't know. I'm glad to have health for every day I've got it. And I think we'll all at some age trade whatever gold and silver we got for health. So anyway, it's health that is the real wealth, folks, not pieces of gold and silver. So send your gold and silver to us and get healthy. That's what I say.
I like that.
Mahatma Gandhi. All right. What else, man? What else we got going on?
You know, not to be too grim. I mean, there was at least one death here recently I think you were interested in that we could talk about a little bit. I didn't realize you were such a big fan of this gentleman. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. Ron Popel, I believe is the correct pronunciation of his last name. So he's Ronco guy, right? He's the TV guy. So
the gadget guy.
Gadget guy. He did all the
infomercials.
You know, set it and forget it. You know, he did not do the slap chop. There's another gentleman that did the slap chop, which I was really enthralled by the slap chop guy. But that's a whole nother guy. He's a little more energetic than Ron. Ron was the man, right? And you know, you got to remember he became on the scene late '60s, early '70s. That was very informative in those years. You know, saw lots of Ron on the TV and selling different stuff. And so my love for the pitchman developed back then as a kid. And so much so that in Dallas, the State Fair of Texas, particularly when I was a kid, I mean, it's 3-4 weeks long, huge event. I mean, the world shuts down, schools close. Every school gets a holiday for the State Fair of Texas. You go out, it's a big deal. And at the State Fair of Texas, this goes back to one of the years. They used to have these tons of pitchmen worked at the State Fair of Texas. And one year I'm there
with the microphone necklace,
microphone necklace,
yeah,
up on the stage, pulling the crowd in. Right, they're pulling the crowd in. Now, I had to be probably, I'm going to say 12-ish. You know, back then, we'd get dropped off. You know, it's right in the heart of downtown Dallas. It probably seems crazy now, but literally my dad worked down there. So he would drop me and some friends of ours off. And, you know, before the fair even opened, and then we'd get picked up late that afternoon when he got off work, go home, right? But we would be on our own at the State Fair of Texas. And like I say, it probably seems crazy now, but back then, I guess maybe it was crazy, and I don't know. Long and short of it is I found myself in front of the original nonstick fry pitchman. Buddy, I watched him take cheese toast and throw it over on the pan, and the damn cheese toast did not stick. He throwed that off, and that didn't stick. And he fried an egg and threw it out of the pan. I mean, I stood there. I was a kid. Nobody, of course, anybody I was there with was not there with me. Nobody else seemed to be enthralled by the pitchman like I was. And I might have even been younger than 12. I might have been 10 or something. I can't remember. I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I bought one. Not that I cooked, but my mom needed that nonstick pan. That was my purchase of the day at the old State Fair, Texas, was a nonstick frying pan. And this was the original. This was like before everybody else had one and they're scraping stuff on it. This was the original days of like brand new technology, man.
Mm-hmm.
All that being said, I have always been drawn to the pitch man. And my dream, which I will eventually get to, and there will be someday I'm going to be standing at the State Fair of Texas on a stage with that microphone, and I'm going to be pitching something. There is nothing I love more than, to be like a Ron, who used to be the pitch man for all those different crazy deals. That, to me, is having a good time. And having the crowd come around and having that great gadget, and you're pitching it and telling them. So, anyway. So Ron, I was very much connected with him. There was another dude, I can't think. I like the old, what's the guy that's got that paint? I mean, he rides a boat, an airboat
Seal?
Out in the middle of the old
the Flex Seal
Flex Seal. That Flex Seal dude. My God, see, give me some freaking paint to set that dude. Look how much fun he's having pitching that stuff. So I love a pitch man. I love Ron. Hate to see Ron go. 86 seems kind of young, but you know what? God bless you, Ron. You touched me, not in a bad way. Not to mean that, but he touched my heart.
Yeah.
When I was a young man. So
how do you feel about auctioneers? Auctioneers are pretty cool too, right? Maybe you can go to auctioneering school.
I like auctioneers. I do, and I would have liked. I should have probably learned to do that, because I am enthralled by those guys.
You still can.
But I'm learning Spanish right now, so I got to figure that out first. Then
it might help.
Next up,
actually, it might help.
I don't think I talk fast enough though to be an auctioneer.
Yeah. Okay.
But hey, I got something for you. I watched Alone.
Did you? Is your mind completely blown?
So, do you really want my full-on comments about Alone or not?
Only if it's good.
Well, okay, then you don't want my comments.
Listen, I don't know if you watched the right season, if you watched the right episode, if it was, how many did you watch?
Well, nobody was naked except at one. One part, one guy got naked and got in the stream.
That's Naked and Afraid. That's a different show. That is a different show if that's what you're looking for, which that's a whole other conversation.
People, so that was disappointing.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought people were going to be naked, so they weren't. But no. Yeah, you know what? I probably need a couple of episodes to get into it. Couple of things that kind of set me off. One was some dude killing a squirrel, which I've killed a few in my day, with a rock. And then the squirrel's got rigor mortis set in, or he was frozen by the time he picks it up.
He harvested a squirrel.
He didn't kill that squirrel with that rock.
Yeah.
Pardon me? Harvest? Is that what we're calling it? Is that the lexic?
Just the word killing has a really bad connotation, particularly for sportsmen, hunters. Yeah. Harvesting.
Okay, I hunted a lot. Ed, I'm going to tell you, as a young man, I did a lot of hunting. We never felt bad about saying, hey, I killed that deer, or hey, I killed that squirrel. So what the hell are you talking about? All of a sudden, now it's harvesting, and hunters want to call it harvesting. I don't believe that. I don't believe there's no hunters that want to call it harvesting. Laura may want
say
you to
the
call
term's
it
a little more
harvesting,
politically correct for those who would rather not have folks
that
hunt.
May be true, but it's not you hunters. Don't act like you're offended by me saying killing.
Oh, I didn't say I was.
Or the hunters that are listening, all you hunters that are listening.
You tend to the mailbag for the next week.
So, Alone was great for the premise. 100 Days.
So you watched episode 7.
I mean,
season 7.
7, and
yeah.
I think I watched 3 episodes. So I did another dude. So here's the other thing that kind of caught me a little sideways. So the squirrel with a rock, I'm calling BS. No way he knocked that squirrel out and killed it with a rock. No way. There is no freaking way.
Maybe harvested
him and his
it with
baseball
rock.
training. Okay, harvest. Sorry, everybody.
He probably stunned it, Craig. Just to be fair,
So
may not have been dead.
Yeah,
Mason, watch it. The squirrel is literally.
I watched the whole.
Have
season.
you seen the squirrel is like a board? Rigor mortis is set in. The squirrel. So as a young child, when we were harvesting squirrels, I was with my uncle, and I was a young lad, and my uncle tended to have a bit of a temper, and I shot this squirrel out of a tree, harvested it. He fell to the ground. Now, Mr. Squirrel, after being shot with a gun, was still alive. I'm not going to tell the rest of the story, but my uncle insisted that I pick the squirrel up and deal with it. And I was like, nope, he's alive and he'll bite me. Well, he got frustrated and decided to pick it up. And he was going to proceed with his plan. But then when he picked the squirrel up, guess what happened?
he got bit.
Yep, he got bit. And he didn't like that. So anyway, long and short of that is a rock, a stunned squirrel will eventually come alive, and you better deal with that quickly. But this squirrel was like a board.
Look,
Go back.
I know what you're talking about.
It's also in the Arctic, though.
Yeah, that too.
You know what I'm talking about?
But there's a lot of trapping going on. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you got up to go get a glass of wine and came back and they had trapped that one and it was frozen. But, you think it's still the one the guy hit with the rock. Because there's a lot of frozen varmints.
Homeboy was holding it up like he just healed it with
on the show.
I'm glad I played baseball. Baseball paid off for me. That's him. He's going on about how his baseball.
Anyway, but you're kind of ruining.
You got to go back.
So
I mean that.
If it's not for you, I understand. I wanted to share this with you. I wanted it to be something we could talk about. But if you're not into it,
I'm open, Ed. But you know what? You need to be with you know what you need? You need to practice Shoshin, my friend. Shoshin.
Mm-hmm.
You need a beginner's mind. And let me, because I have a beginner's mind in all this that we're watching. You have this preconceived notion in all this. So you need to hear my beginner's mind as I watch it. And maybe I'm seeing things that you wouldn't see. Because
but what if you're just not watching it right? What if you're just not watching it right?
Or what if what if Laura's baby's not looking at the spoon correctly? See? That's pre-definition. Okay? Shoshin, my man. Shoshin.
Shoshin.
For you.
I'll try. I'm going to practice some Shoshin this week.
Okay. All right. And I'm not going to go into detail, but do you really think an experienced outdoorsman would lose his fire stick?
I think accidents happen. I think, most of these folks are expert, I would call professionals that at least make their living from teaching, outdoor and wilderness skills and, the type of things you need to know how to do proficiently to be out in the wild. And they still kind of break down eventually, most folks. But I think what really gets most people is the loneliness. It's not lack of food is also a problem, but it's really amazing how folks melt down after about 30 days of not being around people, particularly if they have family and a spouse. The folks that seem to make it the longest aren't attached, that way. And then there's the few that do very well mentally, and then just don't eat enough, and they actually pull them for medical reasons because they're, the show itself, powers that be there, are afraid that they're going to have organ failure. I don't know if you've seen any of that, but it gets pretty gnarly.
So that's kind of the dilemma. The very front end, I figure it gets much more exciting after you get past, because they spend the first 2 or 3 episodes. You're only like 10 days in, right? Yeah. 10, 11 days in. So, I mean, for me, that would be a lifetime. But for somebody that's trained for all that, that should be nothing, I would think, right? That should be kind of easy breezy. So I'm gonna get through this episode 7.
Yeah, I mean, I
for
don't
whatever
know if
reason,
you've ever
where do
had
you watch it?
pardon?
Well, where do you watch it? Because this is Netflix. They only had episode 7
Yeah,
on
I had to
Netflix. Do
buy
you have
it.
a different
We had
channel
to
you
buy
watch it
it.
on?
We had to buy it on YouTube. That's how hooked we are. Through Google,
I'm not
somehow
buying it.
YouTube, our Google account, we got it. So
Gotcha.
yeah, we're sad. And episode 8 is obviously the one that's going on right now. But yeah, the mental aspect is really what's interesting to me. And if you've ever had your mind really play tricks on you, if you've ever had severe sleep deprivation, where you've actually heard like conversations that never happen, that kind of stuff. And I could see it, if you're out there alone for that long, that quiet, with your thoughts. Yeah, it's, your mind's plays tricks on you.
So how does your hunting adventure compare to this stuff?
We eat. We eat.
Well, they eat. I see them cook. One dude had like a whole. He had like 20 fish. This one guy's got a freaking seine net out there. He's catching fish like a madman. I mean, so.
Yeah, we eat. Like Bryce last year had like a case of MREs because the guy's got to eat like every 2 hours. So like a case of MREs, like 5,000 calories a bag that TJ gave him.
Well, he sure puts it on too. He carries that weight.
And yeah, the difference is we eat. But I will tell you that, as well as we were prepared and the accommodations that we have as far as food, after a long day out in the cold, it can kill anybody's spirit, much less, out there by yourself with no food. I mean, I could see it, I could totally see how hard it would be. So I have a lot of respect.
So how many days do you go for? How many days are you actually in the woods living in the tent?
7 to 10 days. You want me to do a month? Is that what you're saying? You want me to do 100? If you sponsor me, I'll do the 100 days.
Shit, if I ain't got to buy food, what the hell's the sponsor? I'll get you there. Buy you the gas, tank of gas to get up there.
I won't probably have a job
if I
left for 100 days. So that's what I need the sponsorship for. A paycheck.
You know what? I think I'm gonna sponsor you and Mason. You and Mason should have a competition.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh man, that'd be. I think I could handle the aloneness aspect of it. Some of the bushcraft, I've not practiced much bushcraft in my day, but I could camp and fish
and be alone.
I could definitely be alone.
Camp and fish, bushcraft. I'm not even familiar with the term bushcraft. Is that what they call it? Is that like it's no longer witchcraft? They call it bushcraft.
Basically, it's a newer version of voodoo and witchcraft. No, bushcraft is what they're doing whenever they're making like structures, like primitive like
filters.
Whatever they're making, like their little tripods, their filters. It's just creating stuff out of your environment surrounding you,
like a hot tub out of an old boat you found.
Basically,
seems like a real good plan when you're trying to survive. Hey, let's create a hot tub. Oh, and then we'll lose our fire stick along the way. I don't know.
All right, you're not gonna like this. You know what? I forbid you from watching anymore. That's it. You're cut off.
I'm gonna watch, if nothing else, just to get on this show and talk about alone. So, so
So speaking
alone,
of not eating,
let's
talk about what you've been eating or not eating, Craig. If I understand correctly, this is your big fast week.
It is the beginning, at the front of the month. It's not a big fast because anybody that's out there that's a real faster, a couple of days is like a walk in the park. It's like a normal life. So, but yeah, I think we've talked about before. I start the new month off now. So I had the month of July away, probably not making all the best health choices along the way. I did pretty good, but I would say it's definitely not as good as my normal health choices. I did not exercise as many days during the week. I didn't hit, 5 or 6 days. I was more like a 3-4 day kind of guy and didn't eat, maybe drank a little more wine than I normally do, all that kind of stuff. But I came back start of August. I did my call it 45-hour fast, which is a couple of days, and then I broke it with an amazing. So we were trying to talk about it's either a frittata or a quiche or both. I don't know. It's something in a gluten-free crust. Okay. So it's a gluten-free crust, and you can put anything. And we've talked a little bit about this dish, but you put you get this gluten-free crust. You get it Whole Foods, Sprouts is where I found it, maybe other places. And I saute some broccolini. Ooh, a little red chard. Red chard is so good. It's so distinctive too when you eat it. So a little red chard, a little broccolini, onion. I actually went with that new color bell pepper. I'm not gonna be able to think. It looks like it's red with yellow stripes. Maybe a masternardi. I can't remember. Mason, you got your hand up.
All right, so I just wanted to interject and just kind of the biggest difference between a frittata and a quiche is that a quiche does have a crust. There's also a difference in the egg to dairy ratio in the vessel that they're baked in, but I believe you had a quiche. If you were using a crust, that was a take on a quiche.
So it's a quiche. Thank you, Mason, for that. That's why we debated that, and somebody was able to look that up on the Google machine and get us figured out. But it was a quiche. And the red bell, I mean, it's not a red bell pepper. It is the new, and I can't, man, you'd know it. Go to your store. It's striped with yellow stripes. It's bright red with yellow stripes. I think Masternardi does it.
I think they're just calling them striped, but okay. Yeah, I know what you're.
But it's beautiful pepper.
Yeah, they're nice.
Slice that dude up, and what else did I have in there? The broccolini. No asparagus this time. Onion, garlic, of course. Everything's got to have garlic. Then egg whites. So you get the liquid egg whites, little carton, pour that egg whites off in there in the crust and everything. Bake that dude at about 350 degrees. Killer quiche. Now, as a side to that, had a little of the, I've talked about before, making the pie, but Stokes, maybe I haven't talked about it on the pod, but Stokes,
yeah, we did.
Purple sweet potatoes.
Yeah, because you'd made the pie during the holidays, I think, or something like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Right. So this, I just diced up the potatoes, some onions, threw them in a cast iron skillet, little olive oil, salt, throw them off in the oven, roast those dudes. And that's the way to break a fast, buddy.
Yeah.
Super good. So that's what I didn't eat for 2 days, which would be nothing. And then a little quiche and a little purple sweet potatoes.
I aspire to get there one day. Today, I really tried to push. I knew we were going to do this podcast, and I wanted to get on and tell you I hadn't eaten in 22, 23 hours, but I got to about the 19-hour mark, and I had to do something. And it's my own fault. I just too much coffee. I can't drink that much coffee and not eat anything. So, flame peppers. That's what they're called, flame bell peppers, which they look like a flame, right? They're like yellow and red striped. But
yep, they do. Yeah,
flame bell peppers. Well, you broke your fast. You had something good to eat. You probably don't feel quite as guilty for living it up for the last month, right? Is that safe to say?
I do not. I do not feel guilty at all. Went to the doctor today.
Really?
And new doctor. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to find a new doctor. It's a long story, but so I met with my new guy. Told him all my wacky habits and wacky ways. He seemed to be okay with it, so I think he's going to work out.
Oh, that's one of those doctors that grade you on a curve. I like those. Yeah, there's a lot of those around here.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can endure me, but no. So I don't feel guilty. Like I always say, it's all about the scores, baby. You know what? As long as I'm turning in good scores at blood pressure, the lady literally said, she said, that's an excellent blood pressure. And I was like, I like excellent.
That's great. You get a gold star for today.
I want a gold star. And so, I just tell you, it's like, yeah, you got to, don't live it up too much, but you can live it up a little bit. But just always, you got to go back to the scores. As long as you're hitting the scores, as long as you're hitting the metrics, you're doing okay. So,
well,
anyway,
I didn't eat anything new this week. Just a lot of veggie bowls that I love.
Oh yeah, what's a veggie bowl?
Oh, we've talked about it before. I just
those.
take those steamer bags, the value added steamer bags of mixed vegetables, throw them in the microwave for 3.5 minutes, then the olive oil, salt, pepper. But I also like to cut an apple up, an avocado, and a few nuts, and it's kind of a weird concoction, but I love it. I can eat it every day. I could eat every meal.
You sent me that picture of you from the Tippa golf tournament this last week, and man, you, like I say, I mean, I'd seen you in person at Viva and everything, but tell you what, looking good, Ed.
Thanks. Thanks for
You're
noticing.
looking damn good. You are. I mean, I did notice. I was like, wow.
I mean,
so
I don't know. I feel like I haven't weighed myself, I guess, in several days, but I don't feel like I'm gaining ground, I guess is what I'm trying to say, just kind of treading water. So I guess I'm okay with that for now, but I can do better. I can do better.
I don't know. Don't. Again, there comes a point in time. You got to understand there is a weight that is your normal weight, right? In other words, it's, for me, that was, like I said, I started this whole deal without really being focused on weight at all. I never was focused on weight, and the weight I lost just happened to be the case, but it eventually stopped. And it stopped because that was kind of my normal weight. It literally got back to where I was close to my high school weight.
Yeah.
And probably then that was the closest I'd ever been to what my normal weight should be. The bad news is so going back to the doctor conversation though, I am shrinking. So I was never tall.
Is that like,
and I'm
people
getting damn shorter.
Bodybuilders say they're ripped. Is that shrinking? Is that like another catchphrase? Kind of.
No, this is not a catchphrase. This is.
You're talking about literally shrinking.
Craig feels bad. Yeah, Craig's getting smaller. Like I say, little Craig that you saw before is getting freaking littler, which is worse. So apparently, I'm just gonna eventually be about 3 foot tall, and
we need to get you an inversion table. So. That's what we need. We're gonna hang you upside down.
I need something, Ed.
I need gravity boots,
because I mean, my posture's terrible, so gravity keeps pulling my head forward, and it's no good. I'm gonna be freaking, remember the when you was a kid, did you ever have the comic book with the troll underneath the bridge?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna grow up to be that damn troll underneath the bridge, apparently. So that'll be me. Scary guy, big mole on my face.
That's funny.
So slumped over.
Well,
anyway,
I hope we figure out how to stop it. Maybe it's with Cucamelon.
I do too. I'm working on it.
Huh?
Inversion table. I'm going to go that route. I'm going inversion table.
So Cucamelon is something that I knew about Cucamelon, but I've never tried it. Came up on a cooking show we were watching the other day. Callie looked at me and said, "Hey, what does Cucamelon taste like?" And I said, "I think it's supposed to taste like citrus, but honestly, I've never tried it. Have you ever had it?"
I haven't. I thought you were going to tell me you did have it.
No, I need to go find some. I think the idea is it tastes like lime-soaked cucumber. That's what I think I read when I looked it up. It sounds really good.
Sounds like super tasty.
Yeah. So anyway, by next podcast, I'll try some Cucamelon.
Cucamelon and what was the wasn't there something on brownie balls?
Brownie Bites. So Laura shared a recipe for Brownie Bites, which I think I've had something similar to that when my daughter had the no-bake, easy-bake oven. It was like supposed to be like a brownie, but it wasn't really cooked. Tasted kind of like no-bake, right?
Yeah, and it's supposed to be with dates too, because you talked about doing the date cheesecake, and so I was like, well, if he has some extra dates, he could do these like little energy bites as well.
I tell you what, I'm just gonna have to take a day in the kitchen and just.
It says brownie balls in the thing, Ed. These brownie balls are great fudgy snack, or you laugh at my brownie ball comment. That's what it says.
Well, because
in the
I
damn
wrote
thing
Brownie
here.
Bites. I'm sorry, I thought they were raw vegan brownie bites.
Well, it does say raw vegan brownie bites. But I want to go back. So your daughter had an easy bake oven with a big light bulb, I guess. Our girls had one. I know.
Yeah,
it had a light bulb in it,
but
unless
I don't
y'all
recall
got one on discount.
I think maybe some of the there was something to do with some recipes that were no bake, right? And I remember having.
So why would you have an easy bake oven with recipes that are no bake?
I don't know.
That doesn't
maybe
make
it was
any sense at all.
For the days that I don't know, we didn't pay her power bill. I'm not sure. I can't recall, but there was something there.
Hey. Here's your easy bake oven, and here's a no bake recipe, so you don't even have to turn it on. It's awesome that you bought this and learned how to use it, but you're not going to turn this dude on at all for this recipe.
Yeah, I'll try to get some context and bring it back next week. But anyway, I remember having something like that. But maybe that's what I need. Maybe my elbow's been hurting. I'm looking for something to help me feel better with my elbow.
That was a janky segue.
Yeah, and because I've been thinking about the Olympics, I've been thinking about my elbow, I've been thinking about what's wrong with me. Do I need to go have it looked at? Is it tendonitis? Is it tennis elbow? I don't know, but watching the Olympics.
Do you play tennis?
I don't, but it's just a syndrome. I don't think it's literally you have to play tennis to have the pain. I know you're joking.
No, well, why do they call it tennis elbow then?
I guess it's prevalent with tennis players. I don't know. Tendonitis, I think, is what it is. But watching the Olympics and everybody that's using the KT tape still, which has been around for quite a while now. Have you ever used it? Kinesiology tape? What do you think about it? Like, did it help you?
I've slapped some of that on there. No, but it made me look cool.
Yeah. I think it works.
Yeah, no, actually, it actually, honestly, yeah, it does work.
If you apply it correctly.
It does work. It does make you. It does both. It looks cool, and it does work.
Yeah. So I mean, I knew.
But now the things that you stick under your eye, the things, the sunblock, like the football players. Is that what it is? No glare. We used to use when I was a kid. The car engine. I don't know if you did this. So back in the day, they had a big marker that football players would use to put that mark underneath.
Yeah. Now it's
underneath
tape.
Their eyes, right? So, yeah, now it's a tape. Now they got some kind of message or advertisement or some kind of crap on there. But when I was a kid, we literally went to the exhaust pipe of the cars, right? And back in those days, it was leaded fuel and everything, so it was nice and black in the back end of the pipe. So you'd take that blackness out of the back end of the pipe, and then you'd rub that underneath your eye and give yourself that look.
That might be why you're shrinking.
And it didn't help. Oh, there's a lot. Yeah, that could be. There's a lot of things probably as a young person that has created my low stature.
Well,
so sorry,
I think I
took you off track there.
You
were going somewhere with that tape.
Well,
KG tape.
Sorry, I had
KG
forgotten
tape
about
works.
it.
It's great.
Several years ago, I tore something in my calf, muscle in my calf. It's actually happened twice. So bad. I think I might have told you this story before, but it was like on a Saturday. I was messing around. A friend of ours had like one of these strength and conditioning, training facilities for kids, for student athletes. They had like this inverted runway where they would make them run up with like resistance bands and stuff. And I challenged Bryce, or Bryce challenged me to a race, and like all it took was like 2 steps. And imagine when you take a 2-liter bottle of soda with a cap on, and then you step on it, the sound that it makes,
yeah,
it pops. That's what my calf sounded like.
Yeah. Oh my God!
I spent the rest of the day in bed Saturday, all of Sunday. Monday, I had a flight out to California. When I tell you I couldn't miss this meeting, I walked sideways to the truck, into the airport. Like, you know how a crab would walk sideways? Because that's the only way
like
I
a
could
sideways
walk.
crab. Yeah.
The only way I could walk
That's
without
awesome.
pain. And so I walked like that. People stared at me the whole day there, the next day, and the whole day back because I had to walk sideways.
It's kind of understandable, though, don't you think? I mean, that sideways walking thing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I used that KT tape while in recovery, and it worked. But I'm gonna have to shave my arm.
Yeah.
So I don't want to catch any grief over that. But I'm gonna try it. Put some KT tape on it.
Oh, grief! You should shave your body. Why don't you shave your body? Maybe we could do a show. Maybe you could be like an educational session series where you do a body shaving.
Nobody wants to see that. All right, KT tape.
Listeners,
well, just for the listeners, yeah. I mean, I know it.
If you want to see Ed shave his body, we're going to do that.
No.
I'll sponsor Ed shaving his body and then living in the wilderness for 100 days. That's what I'm going to do.
I need it for warmth. So the KT tape, the kinesiology tape, I knew somewhat why it was helpful, but when I looked it up today, so that we could share with the audience, it aids in or assists in sensory stimulation to the skin, muscle facilitation or inhibition, pain reduction, joint skeletal stabilization, lymphatic edema reduction, and scar mobilization.
Woo.
Those are the main things that KT tape is used for. So,
dog biscuit.
Go get you some.
No wonder. You know what? They got all kinds of shapes on that stuff. Sometimes it looks like an H.
Well, no, you have to do that. So if you watch
crazy.
some of the videos, depending on what ails you, is how you apply it, right? And so there's all kinds of YouTube videos where they're literally cut it down the middle, and then like if you have like localized pain like I do on my arm right now near my elbow, I'll go on YouTube and there'll be a video for sure on how to tape that ailment or that injury.
You know what? I need that. You know what? I'm going out tomorrow. I'm getting some of that because, like I said, I've used it before. I hadn't thought about that. I've had some lower back, some back issues, and yeah, I'm getting me some of that. The old Shiki Bouton, since I've gotten back, has not been what it was before I left. So I don't know if it's me readjusting to the old Shiki Bouton or whatever, but I may have a new review and report on the Shiki Bouton. Now, Tanya still loves Shiki Bouton.
Huh.
And so she's still a big believer. But for me, it's kind of become not good. But we'll see where that goes.
Could it be for sale in the near future?
But it may be. It may be. Right now, the old haystack is still here. The buckwheat pillow still using that, but yeah, if things don't get better, I'm going to make a few adjustments. But if we don't get things better, then it's out. Hey, but I did want to touch on a couple of things on the Olympics. So I was watching the long jump, the women's long jump the other day, and I watched them jump, and I didn't really think anything about it. And that's, you know what? I'm going to do the math on what these ladies are jumping physically, and mark it off in the house. Dude, it's amazing when you visually mark off how far those ladies are jumping in that stinking long jump, dude. It's like they're like flying for. I mean, I think to myself, I mean, how far could I? I mean, I couldn't even get half of what they're freaking doing in terms of jump. One, being my size doesn't help, right? You need a bit more of a leg span, but it's crazy. Those folks are flying through the damn air. Like, what did I mark off? It was 7 meters. It's like 20, 21, 25 feet, something like that. It's like 25 feet. I think it's 25, 26 feet is what I marked off, is what the basic average was on those folks doing it. Mark that off in your house. Look at what 25, 26 foot looks like. Somebody to fly through the damn air.
It's a long way. Yeah. It's pretty impressive. Watching a lot of the Olympics, have you been?
Not a lot. I've been watching a little bit. I think you've spurred me to watch a bit more.
Did you watch the golf tournament or the golf portion last week?
No, I
men's golf, I should say.
Some of the stuff that Yeah. So I saw the award ceremony and saw some after you'd sent me some stuff on it. But tell me about it. How was it? Heard it was a pretty big, exciting finish.
It was an exciting finish. I think I speed watch stuff at night. I record it, speed watch it when I can. Now in this case, because of the time difference, you're actually watching live. Like right now, I have on the women's competition because it's apparently daytime in Tokyo. So actually, it makes for great timing to watch in the evening because that's when it's happening live in Tokyo. So watched the men's competition. Wasn't that exciting, but up until the last day, right? Xander Schauffele from the U.S. Won it. Has a great story. His dad's German. His mom's from Chinese Taipei, I believe, but grew up in Tokyo. So he has grandparents in Tokyo. And his dad was an Olympic hopeful that had an accident when he was a young man that resulted in loss of vision in one of his eyes that sidelined his career. So, it was a kind of a cool story. He won it for his dad. He even said, like, this is for his dad. And then to have family there, and then, to be from the U.S. and to win, it was pretty cool. Now, I feel bad for Hideki Matsuyama because he's from Japan. He won the Masters this year. And it would have been storybook for him to win, at home, basically. And he actually wound up losing in a 7-way playoff for bronze, for third place.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing. I thought how crazy that playoff
was. Crazy
right?
Playoff, 7-way playoff for bronze. And then the other kind of odd, it's not even odd, Rory Sabatini, who I've always known as somebody that was from, I believe, South Africa or New Zealand. I think South Africa. He was actually representing Slovakia because I think he has dual citizenship through marriage, but he lives in Dallas. The last time I heard, he's one of many pro golfers that live in Dallas, or did. So yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. And then this week is the women's competition, which is shaping up to be pretty cool. Representing the U.S., Jessica Korda, Nelly Korda sisters, Danielle King, and Lexi Thompson. So today's the second day. So I'm just trying to figure out what day it is there. Like I'm watching it. It's the second day, but is it Thursday, the second day, or is it
They're
Wednesday?
A day ahead of us. Yeah, they're a day. Correct. It's Thursday.
Yeah. So I'm just going by when it's on TV. And then obviously I think we mentioned on the last podcast, the dates changed, unfortunately. But at this point, when folks hear this, it will have been over. But watching Callie's cousin, Maggie, in the qualifier, I guess it was Monday night.
Correct.
It was pretty awesome. One throw and she was on to the final, which is Friday morning at 6:50 a.m. Central Time. So that was pretty cool. We, barbecued here at the house and hung out and watched it. It was a little frustrating trying to get the right feed. So we were casting a live feed to the one TV and the other TV had the actual telecast, which I guess if she wouldn't have performed so well, they likely wouldn't have shown her because they didn't show every throw on the telecast. But in this case, because she threw so well and led her group, we got to watch her on both. We're recording the telecast and actually got to rewind it and see it as folks saw it, at home, watching NBC and then also on the live feed. So that was pretty exciting. Although I kind of liken it to a pay-per-view fight. If you're paying the $69, which we didn't have to pay to watch this, to be clear, but if you want, you're kind of torn. You want one person to win, but if it's over in the first round, it's kind of a buzzkill. So I kind of likened it to that, right? We wanted her to obviously do very well, but she did so well, she only had to throw once and onto the final. So in Group A, there were two groups. In Group A, there was one competitor that threw better, I believe 65 to Maggie's 63, 65.2 to Maggie's 63. But her personal best, or Maggie's personal best this year is 66.82, which was just like a month ago. So I don't know enough to even be dangerous about javelin and what the conditions do and wind and all that, and what the conditions are there. But from the numbers, it sounds like she's got more in the tank. So we'll be very excited to get up bright and early and heavily caffeinated Friday morning to watch the final.
So you will be able to watch it on Friday at 6:50. Is it on where is it on the Peacock channel? What's it going to be?
We watched the live feed,
and everybody listening to this, it'll be over by the time y'all hear
on
this.
The NBC app, NBC Sports app. There was live coverage as if you're watching it on TV, right? What the telecast is, and then below there were the individual events, and they have like live streams with no commentary of every event, like as they're happening. So in order to see it all, you kind of have to grab one of those live streams. But like you said, for folks listening, it's going to be irrelevant. But for you, I will find the link and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, definitely send that to me, because I did catch her. And like you said, because she threw so well, it's kind of a good thing for me. On CNBC, which they originally said they were going to show the women's javelin, and they wound up showing a ton of other things besides that. But the only thing they did show in women's javelin, at least when I was watching, was her throw, which is the one I wanted to see. And they basically said, "Hey, one and done, and she's good." And which, since it was a qualifier, that was a big deal. But definitely, I'd love to see the Friday morning show and see it live if at all possible. So send me that link. And I don't know. What a great story. So it's Maggie the Aggie Malone, correct?
On Instagram, she's Maggie the Aggie, yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that is super cool. All right,
I'll be wearing
Ed,
my shirt.
well,
we
you
have
know
shirts.
What? It's getting long.
I should have worn it tonight. We have shirts.
Yeah?
Yeah, that has.
You damn sure should have.
Yeah, I'll wear it on the next one, so we can talk about.
And I was supposed to talk quantum physics tonight, but I'm not going to be able to talk
physics.
Quantum.
Man, I can't believe we forgot that. It's so interesting.
We're going to have to leave that off for another week.
Wow.
I've got to do a little more brushing up on my.
Maybe when I go on vacation that week that I'm going to be on vacation. That'd be a good time.
Right? You think that's when we should talk that?
Yeah.
Well, I think Mason has some insight into quantum physics, so maybe he can fill in for you that week. So,
cool.
But very little. Come on, Mason. Bending of time. I think you know all about black holes, time bending, and everything. So, but anyway, all right. Well, let's get the hell out of here for another night. I got to go eat some lamb chops.
I remember one thing I was going to bring up. It sounds like we have somebody that won themselves a fresh CrEd cap that I'm going to be sending out to them.
Oh, that's sweet.
Thanks for the feedback.
We did, Chase.
Go ahead.
Do I announce his name? Do we do that?
Yeah, make everybody jealous.
So Jason Domenico up in Denver, Colorado. Your hat is on its way. I think Ed's selecting the color. I didn't have any input into that, so hopefully you like the color. We are certainly thrilled with your feedback and your loyalty to the show. Please keep listening, and all you other loyal listeners, because we know there's a couple of you others out there. Send us some feedback. Get yourself a dadgum cap. That's what I'm saying. Right, Ed?
That's right. I agree.
All right.
Dadgum or otherwise.
So just like old Ron, you know what? I'm up on that stage. I'm peddling them darn caps,
That's
man.
right.
Come on, get your cap.
Hey,
right here,
that's something
right
you
now.
can sell at the fair. We'll work on that. Little side gig for you.
You know what? I don't know though, but
you don't have enough gigs.
I need something. Yeah, true. I need more gigs. Tanya would agree. She thinks I don't have enough to do. So, all right, Mr. Bertod, would you do me a favor? Would you tell folks how in the world they can contact us, how they can reach us, how they can find us? Because I know there is hundreds out there waiting to know what is the way to get in touch with Craig and Ed.
Well, if you would like, share, subscribe on YouTube at the Fresh CrEd. Follow us on Instagram at the Fresh CrEd and on Twitter at CrEd Fresh. And send us your ideas, requests, questions. As Craig would say, get you a daggum hat.
And with that, folks, we are out of here for another week. Everybody have a great whatever week coming ahead, weekend, whenever you're listening to this. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time. Ed, Laura, Mason, adios, amigos and amigas.